This dude a whole mess. My man is a whole mess, bro. Marvel's Avengers stars Kamala Khan as, haha, you thought. Oh, yup. Kamala Khan finds the Avengers and puts the band back together and blah, blah, blah. Come on, man, not again. So let's get this single player campaign out of the way. You're telling me that the beginning and the end of the single player is different from the middle. The beginning and the end are the roller coaster, and the middle was like waiting in line for 8 hours to ride once more. Why is the middle part of the game just a tutorial for us to play the grind-filled in-game multiplayer parts? Crystal Dynamics has a perfectly fine story introduction of all the characters, and then those characters come together to do iconic missions. These iconic missions are just the drudgery of the multiplayer, but focused on one character. Also, these iconic missions that they made a big deal out of when selling the game to us are just 2 weak-ass missions. msmarvels can't even be completed until you get 1,200 Inhuman Faction XP for some reason, which is directly tied to the multiplayer aspect of the game, but it's clearly in the single-player portion, so what's the deal with that? Yeah, that's weird. Exactly. The single player is barely a single player campaign. Outside of some slightly specific missions, the game looks like it should have been built as a cooperative story. Even in the character-specific introductions, you can clearly see the other heroes battling with the newly introduced hero. They are also a part of every iconic mission except for the Iron Man flying through sparkling bullets and laser beams, which, I might add, they take a moment to clearly show us that Iron Man can fly faster in his suit, but didn't think we deserved that for actual gameplay. That's true. It's the same with the Hulk, isn't it? You know what? Yeah! These dudes have a full horror mission with the Hulk chasing Kamala and showing off his speed and verticality, and then the Hulk moves like this as soon as he's in the player's hands. The heroes do be moving like molasses though. Hold up. Are we agreeing on something? I think so. Maybe we do have something. Shut up. I should have expected that. Near the end of the game, we see Cap and the gang facing off with some dumb robot in a big boss fight that seems all too similar to every other multiplayer mission. When suddenly, they pull the curtain back and the game jumps back on the roller coaster of exceptional pageantry and crazy set pieces until the final battle with MODOK hits its climax. Right here is when you realize that the entire game could have been like this, and somehow Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics squandered it. It's ever so evident that this game received a visual upgrade for just this one part, because as soon as you return to the game, this is what you see. Oh man, I got the shakes. Drinking too much coffee, bro? What the fuck? Oh, the armor. What is going on? It was like wind's blowing through it or something. This armor bugging. Why was he shaking that way? And then you head into multiplayer and start to remember all the missions in the middle of the campaign. Close your eyes and remember standing on points, smashing generators, and bouncing around empty open spaces finding chests. Now open your eyes and realize that's the exact same thing you're going to be doing for the entirety of the multiplayer. It's even worse that you have to do a buttload of boring challenge card missions. Some of these are easy to complete, but the majority of them are laborious chores that try to incentivize players into spending money to buy the credits instead. Why do games have to hide cosmetics behind repetitive tasks or money walls after we've already paid full price? Because people pay for it, dummy! That's rude. Not every game can be Ghost of Tsushima and Spider-Man. Some have to be live service trash that barely runs correctly but thinks it deserves more money from you. Oh yeah, we really wanted to play a game where our superheroes get blasted to death by eagle-eyed enemies who take away their powers, stun them into submission, and have multiple crowd control moves that are the exact same thing. Right, like gravity, cryo, and black hole effects that all require you to press square. Yep. How are these different effects if they use the same QuickTime event to escape? Why the heck can enemies bombard players with rapid-fire homing missiles, sniper beams, and bullets without giving the player invincibility frames? Why the heck do they allow players to be suppressed so they can't use the dodge mechanic? What's this spin crap that takes away the heroic abilities of the superheroes, making them less interesting as heroes and ineffective to combat? What's up with the multitude of enemies showered in shields that make them incapable of being staggered until broken? On top of that, the heroes themselves are often slow and unwieldy, while enemies are capable of aiming and dodging in the air at ludicrous speeds. This is Thor dodging in the air, and here is some random aim guy with a jetpack doing the same dodge. So the superhero with godlike ability is incapable of crossing the same distance as the Rocketeer? Blasphemy. Let's not mention the rockets that auto-lock and follow the flying heroes until they've flown far enough away from the battle. If not, they'll just continue to circle around, following the player until they somehow get rid of it. It's an irritation that makes playing as a flying hero more of a chore, even when you don't take into account how hard it is to navigate in the air in the first place. It's starting to sound like you didn't like the game. I don't like the current state that it's in, that's for damn sure. They didn't fix the frame rate or all the damn bugs that people pay $60 to experience. Ugh, what? Turned into Japanese porno. What happened? So currently, the game is not worth its price tag and features some repetitive missions, lots of crashing, infinite loading screens, and 6 characters that can't be duplicated in multiplayer. That means you have to swap between characters to find a game where people aren't playing as that specific hero. Marvel's Avengers is a mess right now, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. It's got all the makings of a game that could fail very easily due to microtransactions, boring structure, and unwieldy frame rate issues. And buttloads of bugs. If it survives, check back with Marvel's Avengers in a year or two. It should be a somewhat playable game by then if you're down for a grind.